So let's start with a little anecdote from a memorable event. It was my friend's wedding a few years ago. And now weddings are like usually about love and laughter, right? And well, this one had a little extra flair. So there was I, enjoying the festiveness, when Krzysztof, the groom, decides to play a matchmaker with the guests. He's going around, introducing everyone, spreading the joy, and then he gets to me. I was a little bit stressed, I have to admit. And he was standing behind me. And then he proudly declared, "This is my friend Beata, and she is the person with the biggest amount of certifications and trainings that I've ever known." Well, I froze. In that moment, lightly speaking, I felt a mix of surprise and unease. Don't get me wrong, like it was a kind of funny moment, but beneath this laughter, there was this weird feeling. Sure, I've got a list of certifications, courses, postgraduate studies, but who wants to be known solely for their certifications, right? There's gotta be more to life than just a fancy title and a stack of badges on a social media. And being a certified professional in project and product management in Krakow fintech scene is great, but it's not the whole picture. So today I'm going to explain the roots of this story and actually answer the question, can mentoring help to conquer the four horsemen of personal and professional apocalypse? And you probably are right now scratching your head, wondering, what am I talking about? Like, what are these four horsemen of apocalypse? What am I referring to? So I'm going to do it right now. The fourth horseman of apocalypse is a metaphor that I took from a New Testament. They describe the conquest, the war, hunger, and death, respectively. And I want to use them all as a metaphor to describe the main challenges that we all face in our professional and personal development that might lead to sabotaging our careers, not reaching the full potential, or just doing too many certifications in a short amount of time, spending thousands of money, and yeah, wondering why why did I do that? Why I even started? But before I will introduce the first horseman, I'm going to ask you some questions. Have you ever doubted yourself or felt like you didn't deserve your achievements? Did you ever try to be perfect in something but ended up feeling too stressed? Are you ever scared of failing, so you avoid taking the chances? And do you often feel busy, stressed, or unhappy with your current situation, but you're not doing anything about it? Well, if you feel that way, that presentation is going to be useful to you. And I will move to the first horseman that, as you can right now know, it's going to be imposter syndrome. So according to KPMG study, 75% of female executives report experiencing imposter syndrome during their careers. And what is the imposter syndrome? So you can close your eyes right now and think about the time when you've achieved something remarkable. Perhaps it was like landing on a dream job or receiving a praise for a project well done, or you succeed with the product launch. And yet, despite this external validation, There was a nagging voice in the back of your mind, whispering doubts and insecurities, whispering, "You're not good enough. You shouldn't be here." So, imposter syndrome, it's that sinking feeling that we don't deserve our successes, that we are frauds, and this is just an accident that we are here amongst all these competent professionals. And have you ever experienced this sense of inadequacy, doubting your abilities, of fearing that you'll be exposed as a fraud? Maybe you've downplayed your achievements, dismissing them as insignificant or attributing them to luck rather than a skill. Or perhaps you found yourself paralyzed by the fear of being found out, convinced that others will see through your facade of competence. I felt that when I first encountered the tech industry, I was greeted by the sea of brilliant minds, like really developers seemed to possess the endless amount of knowledge. And I couldn't help but feel like I was constantly playing catch up, comparing myself with other product owners or managers or project managers, only kind of intensified this feeling of not being in the right place, not being in the right spot. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparison, especially in the fields where everyone else seems light years ahead. But it's essential to remember that everyone started somewhere and we're all on our kind of unique journey of growth and learning. That helps a lot. And there is a second horseman, and he is perfectionism. So now you can imagine for striving for perfection in every fiber of your being, every task, every project. It must be flawless, and it has to be it has to be so perfect that there is no space for the slightest imperfection. And this relentless pursuit of perfection becomes a double-edged sword, driving us to excel while simultaneously paralyzing us with fear. And perfectionism is often intertwined with imposter syndrome, as it compels us to seek mastery in all activities. And we convince ourselves that unless we have all the answers, unless we're like the Bible of expertise, we're not worthy of recognition or success. And have you ever felt that pressure to be an expert before diving into something new? Before starting a new project, before starting a new product, you needed to know it all to make any action. I certainly experienced that. I used to believe that I had to know everything before I could even begin a project or pursue a new opportunity, like my podcast, for example. And this constant need for expertise often led us to the path of procrastination, self doubt, and getting frozen. We are not doing anything. We're just constantly on a journey of a training. And I find myself frozen in place, unable to move forward until I had felt that I had mastered every aspect of the task beforehand. And there is the third horseman, that is fear of failure. And it's quite connected to the previous one, the perfectionism. Now, picture yourself on a battlefield of your ambitions, grappling with the relentless feeling of being scared, The fear of failure is like a warrior that is there to sabotage our efforts and constantly judging us. It's it's not about the possibility of like falling short. It's about the very real consequences of failure. It's the fear of losing control, of before doing something, getting to the new course and never reaching our desired destination. Have you ever felt this kind of fear tightening around your chest, paralyzing you with indecision? Maybe you found yourself trapped in a cycle of self sabotage, resistance to change, or clinging to the safety and familiar places. Or perhaps you've experienced the kind of soul crushing weight of uncertainty and the fear that no matter how hard you try, you will never measure up. And I had that in the past. The challenge I had was the lack of salary negotiations in my career. It's so easy to underestimate our own worth, especially when we're just starting out. But learning to advocate for myself and negotiate for a fair compensation was a crucial step in gaining more confidence and asserting my value in a workplace. And the last one, the last one, um, the last one is the most sneaky and the most dangerous one. Is the comfort zone confinement. So imagine yourself being in a suffocating embrace of your comfort zone. It's a kind of deceptive sanctuary, offering the illusion of safety and security while sabotaging your growth and potential. Comfort zone is like a silent reaper, traps us in a cycle of stagnation and dissatisfaction. It's very subtle, yet very dangerous belief that we are better off playing it safe, avoiding risks and challenges at all costs. So, have you ever felt trapped in this bubble, afraid to step outside? Maybe you've settled for the familiar, choosing comfort over chasing your dreams. Or perhaps you felt that nagging sense of discontent, knowing there's more to life beyond your comfort zone. Personally, I've battled with self sabotage and procrastination and feeling like I'm, in a constant struggle against myself. It's so easy to get lost in negativity and overlook the positiveness. Instead of embracing the feedback and focusing on the good, I often found myself in the past in a victim mentality, wondering why things never seemed to go my way. And right now, after we discussed all the four of the horsemen, how to tame this dark four. So, coming back to the personal story, despite of my extensive education, certifications, and trainings, I found myself very often grappling with a persistent sense of unease. I struggled to embrace my worth and often felt compelled to overwork, fearing that I needed to prove myself. Can you relate to this? And this pattern of my behavior, of my thinking, not only led to increased anxiety and stress, but also led me to making so many certifications in very short amount of time without implementing the knowledge that I gained in a day-to-day job or day-to-day life. I don't say like completely, but most of the knowledge I got was just in my head. And I felt like I can't excel in challenging projects. So I was there. But don't stress out, easy. I kind of discovered effective strategies to conquer these inner demons. And I'm here to share them with you right now. So, the first thing at the beginning of all, it all starts with self awareness. It's the cornerstone of personal growth. However, this realization didn't come overnight. It took countless books, webinars, and discussions with fellow professionals to recognize and question my own thoughts and beliefs. And also therapy, I have to admit that. But I'm here today to make you aware that maybe there is like a, easier way to actually gain this self awareness and implement some simple steps to overcome the four horsemen of apocalypse of personal and professional development. So, the first thing you should do to increase your self awareness is to recognize that you're feeling or that you're experiencing imposter syndrome, perfectionism, that you're scared of failure, and that you might be trapped in a comfort zone. And start questioning it. Challenge your thoughts and beliefs that are coming to your mind by asking, what evidence supports the thoughts, the negative thoughts? What evidence contradicts them? And the third question, how can I increase my chances of success despite these doubts? The next step is actually don't letting these thoughts and these experiences to stop you. Embrace imposter syndrome, perfectionism, fear of failure, and just do things. Just build your resilience and confidence because we all feel imposter syndrome. Yet it's on us to choose whether it stops us from doing things or we just move on and do our stuff and in that way fight that creature. The next step is actually accepting all these four horsemen as the part of the process. Understand that experiencing those is a kind of natural part of growth and try to reframe it as a signal of progress and an opportunity for development. Imposter syndrome is actually a sign or a trait that you're a high performing person. You want more than just do this or that, do this project or just this task. You are there for more. You want to progress, you want to learn, you want to develop yourself. And the last thing that is very useful and very simple is actually identifying and building on our strengths. Identifying and leveraging the strengths to like boost our confidence and self-assurance. And we can do that by various tools like, for example, Gallup tests, which have like a framework for building on our strengths. Or there are plenty of different models for self-discovery and self-development, like DISC model. You probably read the book Surrounded by Idiots. So that's also one of the tools that can help you to understand yourself better, raise self-awareness, but also understand others around you. And the last thing that you should do to actually tame these horsemen is talk about it. Imposter syndrome isn't about being perfect. It's about feeling like a fraud even when you aren't now. So break this cycle of silence and discuss whether people around you feel that way. And recognize that many individuals share similar experiences. Even top stars like Emma Watson, they all experience imposter syndrome. Some people are just better at hiding that. And we don't need to face these challenges alone. Sometimes it's about asking for help or finding a powerful ally in our battle against the four horsemen. And here comes the mentoring, because the mentoring offers a light of hope in the darkest of times. It provides us with guidance, with tools, with support, and a different perspective as we navigate the waters of personal and professional development. It's like Yoda in Star Wars helping Luke Skywalker to move through the painful process of becoming the Jedi. You can have your Yoda. You can find your mentor too. And whether it's from within the organization you're working in or through external connections, mentors can provide invaluable insights and encouragement. Because very often, a mentor is someone who has walked the path you're currently following. He or she faced their own four horsemen and tamed them. And they understand the twists and turns, the pitfalls and the triumphs. So, how mentorship helps? In my journey, mentors played a pivotal role in helping me to confront the four horsemen very, I would say, early in my career. Because mentors offer both the competence, the tools, and the growth oriented guidance. They are providing us with tools and support to boost our confidence and realize our goals. It's not just a talk, it's a relationship that develops both sides. And we can move with our mentors through shared experiences. They very often demystify the struggles of imposter syndrome or perfectionism or feeling mm, stuck in a comfort zone of being afraid of failure. And they foster the sense of understanding and being there together. They have an experience, they have the wisdom, they have tools to encourage you when you feel overwhelmed by self doubt and uncertainty. And if we're focusing on the tools, for example, one particular mentor shared with me a powerful perspective on decision making. And right now I'm using that tool and it makes my life easier on a daily basis. Because, it all starts with a choice. And very often we are so scared of making a decision, a bad decision, that we're just not making any choice. And the tool that I'm going to present you right now is the tool that it's a kind of the concept of reversible and irreversible decisions, a framework that is championed by visionaries like Jeff Bezos, for example. So I'm going to share it with you right now, and I hope it will help you. So imagine your decisions are doors, and some doors swing both ways. So you can step through, explore, and return if needed. And these are your reversible decisions. Other doors, however, there are one way doors. Once you step through, there's no turning back. These are our irreversible decisions. And when we are faced with a reversible decision, mentors encourage us to act swiftly. At least my mentor did. And to seize the moment and embrace the opportunity for growth. After all, the cost of inaction often is much bigger than the risk of making a wrong choice, especially in our careers. Sometimes we are thinking about changing the job, changing the company, changing the role, and we feel like this is something that is going to change everything, impact our life completely. But very often, this is the two-way door. You can always come back to the company, to the role that you were doing. And even if not to the same role, there will definitely be a similar one that you can encounter. But there is this other part, irreversible decisions. And then you should proceed with caution. Take your time to gather information, weigh the options, and then make a decision carefully. Because once the door closes behind you, there's no going back. And yeah, this tool, I hope it will help you to actually distinguish how many decisions in our day to day is the two-way doors. We just see it from a different perspective. And that's another topic that I want to cover here, and talk about what mentoring taught me. It was about differentiate between perception and perspective, recognizing that our interpretations shape our reality. I know this picture might look weird, if you're like looking at the presentation right now, but it's generated by ChatGPT. He's not perfect, so convincing him to create a simple picture of half empty, half full glass was too difficult. So we have what we have. I hope that it will actually illustrate that the choice of seeing the glass half full or half empty belongs to you and needs the same amount of energy. Another thing that I learned during the mentoring was embracing a growth mindset. And mentors are very good at showing us how to reframe the challenges as opportunities, how to practice the acceptance as a part of the journey, and acknowledge that imposter syndrome is just a common experience among high achievers. And as we draw to a close, maybe let's recap the insights that we've uncovered and the actionable steps that you can take to overcome the challenges posed by the four horsemen. So I'm going to come back to my own journey, because when I'm reflecting on that, I realized that the true transformation began when I paused to seek guidance through mentorship. It was during these mentoring sessions that I revisited my roots, I reconnected with my values, and equip myself with powerful new tools like decision making frameworks or the distinction between perception and perspective. And these insights empowered me to confront my fears and helped me to tame the self doubt and perfectionism. So I ask you today to consider the transformative potential of mentorship in your own life. Whether seeking guidance from experienced professional or stepping up to mentor others, committing yourself to the journey can be a crucial step towards conquering the four horsemen. Because very often, the greatest obstacle we face is often ourselves. We are the architects of our own success or stagnation, the masters of our destiny. So let us not be paralyzed by self doubt and confined by the allure of comfort. Instead of, let's try to seek for help and reach out to potential mentors, even if they are strangers. You'd be really surprised how many people are eager to offer guidance and support to those who seek it. So, today, my challenge to you is take the first step towards the change, commit to seeking or becoming a mentor, and together, let's start the journey of growth, gaining more resilience, and be empowered and be with this together. Because teaching or mentoring others or being taught or mentored very often reinforces our own knowledge and also highlights this value and contribution to the community. And remember, the power to conquer the four horsemen lies within you. It's you. And it's time to steal the power, take a steer, and ride towards a more fulfilling future, more satisfying one, or just learn. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you. That's all from me for today.